Don't forget to join the Discord. The link is in the description below.
Squidward! The robots are running the Navy!
Not the Navy!
New tech is probably one of the most euphoric experiences. I may not be no Marquez Brownlee, but I can appreciate some brand new technology, especially when it can make my life 10 times easier. But for some reason, in a lot of workspaces, people tend to really think that their jobs are going to be taken away by some type of technology.
According to one study, 47% of US jobs have a high probability of becoming computerized.
That's why today I'm trying to tell y'all why that's simply not true, and a lot of y'all are probably just tripping out over nothing. Working a job has existed for a very long time, and companies have probably existed for the same amount of time as well too. And we already know how companies operate. They want to make everything faster and they want to make everything more cost effective. So in the Industrial Revolution, when they started making a lot of machines that could do things faster than a human could, these companies were literally ready to start switching humans out for actual machine. And see, not gonna lie, for a very long time, the machines actually did take our job. Well, if you were working in like a factory or something like that. Cause real talk, this was a genuine fear for a lot of people. Not only could the machines work faster and longer hours than regular humans, but the machines didn't have to take any breaks, and on top of that, they didn't have no sick leaves, and you didn't even have to really pay the machines either. And in that time period, of course, people most definitely lost their jobs. The regular working man felt like his place was taken away by a simple machine. And from this time period, we started having the concern of machines taking away our jobs. And as generations went by, we started seeing the improvement of technology in shorter intervals of time. From simple conveyor belt mechanisms to even just hand claws as well. We started seeing a lot of these things in a lot of our industries. And as we saw these improvements, the media started going haywire with almost every single thing they brought out. It's to the point that we even got books and movies talking about this concept. Like for me, the first time I ever seen this type of concept before was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I'm quite certain it's that one scene where Charlie's dad loses his job because of a machine.
The factory had decided to modernize, eliminating Mr. Bucket's job.
And see, this is only one scene that really explains this concept. I can't even lie, in our media today, we have this concept depicted in many different extremes. Like we've all seen iRobot, and I know a lot of us have all seen Terminator as well too. All these movies all just depict the idea of machines taking over our jobs and possibly even the world as well too. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is really only just an extreme. I personally believe that it could happen, but at the same time, the fact that it couldn't happen makes a lot more sense.
I got just a plan! Hey, narrator guy! Read this or I'll disperse your molecules!
Old people in technology are extremely synonymous, but not for the way that you actually think. When we think of old people in tech, we usually think about a slow situation of how these old folks genuinely don't understand how this stuff works. Like I can't even lie, it's only been recently that we've seen old people use stuff like Facebook, WhatsApp, and even TikTok. A lot of this stuff is really just new for them, and it's kind of difficult for them to understand how a lot of this stuff works. And because of that, they tend to need a lot of help from a lot of people just so that they could operate a simple phone. Like funny enough, I was at the Apple store recently, and I can't even lie, I was trying to get myself a new Mac. And I'm gonna be so real with y'all, I genuinely had to wait at the Apple store for 30 to 40 minutes just to get some assistance. And one thing that really blew my mind was the fact that I was waiting there while an old lady was genuinely asking for assistance to put on a screen protector. I'm gonna be so real with y'all, she deadass waited 30 to 40 minutes just to get a screen protector on her iPhone. I had so much rage in my heart waiting for this old woman to get her phone fixed, but I really had to remember the fact that she's old and she genuinely just doesn't know how to do any of that stuff. And on top of the fact that they're literally new to technology, they haven't gone through a lot of the hazing periods that we did. So for them, when they see something on the internet, they're probably gonna take it as 100% fact instead of actually double checking the information first. And see, that right there is where the concept for this video comes from, cause not gonna lie, those old people genuinely ruined my day. Let me tell y'all a little story real quick, cause not gonna lie, I remember when I was at work and they had me working at the front end of the store. And for those who don't know what the front end of the store is, it's basically the place where they have all the kiosks. Mind you, in this position, I actually have to go out of my way and serve people. And not gonna lie, this is probably one of the most annoying parts of that job. Cause real talk, imagine you're standing in a place for 3 to 4 hours without taking a break. Mind you, there's no chairs, and I can't even lie, there's nowhere you could really rest your back on for real. And on top of that, you have to go out of your way and serve some senile customers. But see, that's besides the point, cause not gonna lie, one day I had an old man come up to me and say he'll never use self-checkout. And then I asked him, why won't you use self-checkout? Do you wanna know what this man told me? This man literally told me, right? He said to me that he will never use self-checkout because he doesn't want us to lose our jobs. Let's really just sit here and ponder what he said. You mean to tell me that you're not using something that's a faster process because you think we're gonna get our jobs taken? That one statement right there genuinely put me in so much rage. Like, really make it make sense. You mean to tell me that you thought that we'd be losing our job because self-checkout exists? I don't understand why folks really think that this is the only part of the job that requires us to actually be here. It's not like there's many other things in the store that we actually have to do. On top of that too, in many different jobs as well, these automated systems are used just to bring people from the front all the way to the back now. Nobody is really losing their job, they're just doing something else now. And these situations really just display what's actually going on, because not gonna lie, we're not losing our jobs in the slightest. Like I said before, the jobs are not being lost, people are just being moved around. Like the example in my store, if you're working at a kiosk, essentially you're gonna be moved to the back and moving the actual product instead. There really isn't too much change, and I can't even lie, the only things that actually change is the jobs that you actually have to do now. The more things get automated, the more we start to see that people have to operate these automated machines, whether that be people fixing them or improving them so that folks can actually interact with them. Funny enough, a lot of people forget the fact that a lot of these jobs become displaced, replaced, and fixed, which basically means to improve the efficiency of the machines, you need someone to either operate or fix the machine so that it doesn't, break. Crazy enough, we've technically seen this advancement in many situations. Like, imagine all those folks who had to cut grass before lawnmowers existed. You mean to tell me we gonna make folks continue to cut grass in this big old field, right? With this chunky blade? The lawnmower effectively made cutting grass so much easier to the point that we started worrying about other things. Like, look at the shape of the grass, the color, to even the edges of how they were cut. We start seeing the improvements of the job itself, and not gonna lie, when it comes down to it, the job not only becomes easier, but it looks better and it becomes much cleaner. And let's really talk about it, because machines actually make more jobs than they replace. I'm gonna use my job as an example, because not gonna lie, there's literally a job or a part of our work that we have to go around and make sure that all the self-checkouts are clean and not broken. On top of that, we have to make sure that the screen's working, and we also have to make sure that the customers aren't having any problems with it as well too. If someone's stealing from there, you're gonna be the first one to know. And it's kind of crazy how people don't even see this as a part of the job. We're seeing so much economic growth and so much improvement in our lives, especially with automation and technology, to the point that it doesn't seem even that bad. I think there really aren't folks losing their jobs, but I feel like there's a handful of people who are afraid that their job will be taken by machines. And that is something that we do have to make concerns about, because there is a chance that you could get your job taken. And this fear really stems from the idea of change. I feel like a lot of people are really afraid of the idea that things will change. What was normal in the past doesn't seem to be normal anymore, and I can't even lie, I don't even think that that's a bad thing either. As time goes by, humans have had to adapt to every single situation that may come our way. But it seems like for a lot of people nowadays, they genuinely don't want to have that change. They want things to stay the same, and they want it to feel like the way they grew up as. And I can't lie, we can no longer be living our lives in nostalgia. As technology improves, we have to improve with it, because at the end of the day, if you're actually afraid that your job is gonna get taken, it probably will if you're not willing to change. I recently seen a lot of stuff relating to writers and how they're interacting with the concept of AI. And I can't lie, it feels like they're the only ones who have genuine concerns as to how AI will be implemented in their workspaces. It's the fact that they feel like they're being replaced by a machine that really makes me feel sad for them, because not gonna lie, their concerns are actually very real. I've actually ran some tests on my own as well, and I can't even lie, I've had AI make a story for me.
Yo, listen up, this one's crazy. Lil Dre was the hottest thing on the block, no doubt. Dude had bars for days, smooth flow that made the speakers hum, and a heart as big as his dreams. From the projects to the stage, the kid was on a rise, doing everything he promised he would. Money, fame, respect, he had it all. But with that comes the hate. You know how it go, fam. It was a late night, Dre was in the hood, just finished up a studio session, vibing with the crew. They were talking about the next move, the next big drop. Lil Dre was about to blow, but not everyone was happy about it. Some of the old heads were salty, jealous that Dre had what they wanted, that success was coming so fast for him. They pulled up out of nowhere. Dre ain't even see it coming. First shot hit him in the shoulder, a sharp pain like fire. Then bam, 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 another, and another.
Now, real talk, I'm not gonna be the one to say it, but if you had a couple editors and some people that really make that story seem a bit more, realistic, it could possibly be an extremely fire movie. But on the other hand, it feels like we're losing our art style because we have technology now. It seems like for them that no one genuinely has the capability to become a writer anymore if technology has its way. And to have this happen, it seems like a handful of people are going to be completely displaced from their jobs. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't read books anymore. But I know those folks on Wattpad are going to be very, very disappointed. And I'm gonna be honest, even though there's a handful of people that could possibly lose their jobs because of technology, the rest of y'all are not losing your jobs at all. Technology has grown to the point that it is and is here to stay for the rest of who knows how long. Next up, we're gonna be having more and more crazy technology in place in the workplace and our homes in general. Like, how do I tell y'all? Elon Musk recently just caught a rocket. How do you use a mechanical hand to catch a rocket that's in mid-flight? On top of that, new phones are coming out almost every year. I can't even lie, it's to the point that a new phone comes out every 6 months. At this point in time, we're genuinely living in the future and there's nothing wrong with change. But even though this is the case and a lot of situations may spring up from it, we gotta be real with ourselves, because how does any of this affect LeBron's legacy? I hope y'all enjoyed, God bless, and have a nice day.